Now here today we'll be dealing with the phylum Pteridophytes. Okay. Now this Pteridophytes basically they belong to horsetail and ferns. Okay. Now if you can see the figure here, you see these are the various plants, see ferns you can very well see, and you can very well know that these are found in places that is wet and damp places. Okay, even ordinary ferns, you can, that is known as pteris, Pteris, pteris. It's a very common fern, and you may find near the drains, or it grows on the wall where it is very damp and sweaty. Okay, now what is the evolutionary characteristics of this? You see, this focus on the sentence. They are the first terrestrial plant to possess vascular tissues, that means xylem and phloem. Now before the phylum Pteridophytes, we were dealing with bryophytes and algae, and they never had the vascular tissue. So you see, it begins with a bacterial cell, and here finally it has come, evolution has come to a middle stage where gradually xylem and phloem, that means the vascular tissues, they has developed. And you see here the body is differentiated into true roots, true stem and true leaf. Okay, so this you have got a body differentiation. Earlier you may see that we have leaf like structure in Funaria, that is the mosses, then Markensia, they are leaf like, and even some algae they have got leaf like structures, but those are foliages. They are simply cell connection, and multicellularity is also not shown there. They are assemblage of cell, colonial in algae, and little cell differentiation. You find a little evolution structure, that means the production of Gema cups and all, you find it in bryophytes. But here, this evolutionary, it forms a link, that means connection between the thallophytes, that means up to bryophytes is known as a thallophyta, and the gametophyte. What is gametophyte? Actually they are the seed bearing plants. Gametophytes considered into as angiosperm and gymnosperm. Okay, so pteridophyte, what is the link between these two? First is, you see, I said the xylem and phloem is also there, and the gametophyte, another link is, see, the very important part what you have to focus on the while going through the pteridophytes is reproduction in them. Now see, reproduction, if you consider in pteridophyte, they bear microsporophylls. What is sporophylls? Phylls, the word comes from the leaf. That means microsporophylls are small leaf. Okay, so that bears the microspore. Microspore behaves like a male gametophyte. Okay, so microsporophylls, you find behind the leaf structure, the sori is there. And megasporophylls is that? Megasporophylls is also that female, what you known as archegonia. Okay, we were dealing with that. Okay, so that anthragonia and archegonia, so they are present in megasporophylls, and that is present behind the leaf structure. Singular is known as sori, that is, it is in the form of a sori. How is it? Now see, if you see a leaf structure like this, for example, if this is the leaf structure, okay, now sori would be present here all the spore, see, antherozoids or the archegonium, these would be there, and when they get mature, the spores, they will be released into the air. Okay, the anthers, the microsporophylls will release the anthers or the male gametophyte into the air, and the female archegonia, they would be bearing small archegonia. If it is a female cell, they will bear small archegonia over there, and these spores will go and fertilize over there. Now you see, these are very evolved organisms and a little bit complication. Okay, for example, you see, they bear sporangia. I said sporangia, and what do? They undergo reductional division, that means meiosis, and they some of the plants which have must evolve, like Selaginella, equisetum, they form cone or strobilus. Okay, now if you focus on the life cycle, okay, Now basically the life cycle is divided into two. One is the sporophytic generation and another is gametophytic generation. Now what is basically the sporophytic generation? Whatever the green foliage part, the green plant, what we find as a fern in your surrounding is basically a sporophytic generation. What is sporophytic generation? Now you see this sporophyte and what is gametophyte. You see gametophytic generation is what only the gametes. Okay, either it's a male, they form a protothallus structure. Okay, now what is these gametophyte? They may have antheridia or archegonia which undergo fertilization, and when they go fertilization they develop into the sporophytic plant. So this is also important. Now let us see what is basically there in your book. Now here, if you focus on here, this portion, you see the leaves of the pteridophyte have got small microsporophylls. As I said, they are small leaves bearing the microspores. In Selaginella, a large macrosporophylls is found, as in fern. The sporophytes bear sporangia, and that are subtended by leaf-like appendages called sporophylls. That means the leaf bearing the sporangia is known as sporophylls. In some cases, the sporangia may form distinct compact sporangia produces spores. I said spores. By meiosis in spore mother cells, the spores germinate. See, spores are not fertilized. Spores directly germinate and give rise to inconspicuous but small multicellular, see, free living, mostly gametophyte and thalloid, mostly photosynthetic thalloid structure. Thalloid, it is just like a, just like a small patch, small leaf or something like that growing on the ground. It is very small and it is gametophyte, and that is known as prothallus. For example, the anther, if you take as anther, it is not basically anther, but for your understanding I would say the male part, okay, that is known as antherozoid or something like that. Antheroid, they fall on the ground. So when they fall on the ground, they germinate into a small thallus where they produces a fertile, for example, where they produce, see here, focus on here, the gametophyte requires cool damp places. What is the gametophyte? The spores released from microsporophylls and megasporophylls. Okay, they require cool damp and shady places to grow, and because of this specific restriction required, the need for water for fertilization. I said earlier also, that is a link between the algae and the bryophyte, that they need a water for fertilization. Now, the spread of living pteridophyte is limited and restricted to narrow geographical region. You don't find ferns everywhere. Okay, now the but we have it here in Jharkhand. The gametophyte bears. Now here see, they bear male and female sex organs, antheridia and archegonia. Now where are they found? They are found in the protothallus. Okay, now release from the antheridia to the mouth of the archegonia, and the fusion of the male and the female gamete with the egg present in the archegonia results in the formation of a zygote with egg present in the archegonia. Okay, now this zygote thereafter produces a multicellular, that means whatever plant body you find, it is actually a multicellular well differentiated sporophyte. Earlier also I have said that the plant body what you find is a multicellular sporophyte structure. Now which is the dominant phase of the pteridophyte? In the majority, homosporous. Homosporous means producing same kind of spores. Examples, Selaginella and Salvinia, which produces two kind of spores, macro or micro, and that is known as heterosporous. That means either the plant may be homosporous, producing only the male microsporophylls, or it may be producing the megaspores and the microspores. So heterosporous Selaginella is example of heterosporous. Megaspores and microspores germinate and give rise to female and male gametophyte respectively. The female gametophyte in these plants are retained on the parent sporophyte on the of variable period. Now the development of zygote into the young embryo takes place within the female gametophyte. This is very important. Now this event is a precursor of the seed habit. See, up till now we never had the seed formation. Okay, so this is a link between the thallophytes and the gametophytes. Okay, so pteridophyte have 4 different classes. That is not in your syllabus, but still for your knowledge it is, see, Coelopsida, then Lycopsida, Sphenopsida and Pteropsida. Okay, so this is how you have to go through it, the chapter. Our next topic would be gymnosperm. Gymnosperm is similar to the modern plants. Example is Cycas and Pinus, but here you see again the seeds develop as sporophylls, microsporophylls and megasporophylls, and fertilization is very similar to the modern angiosperm flowering plant, but only the seeds are not enclosed by a flower, so that is why they are known as naked seeded. Okay, now they have got another evolutionary features is they have got a fungal association. That means fungus, various kind of fungus grows on the roots of the Cycas and Pinus tree, so they are known as mycorrhiza. Then certain specialized, they have got coralloid roots, that means that helps in nitrogen fixation, like cyanobacteria. The stems are branches and they don't have branches. See, if you ever seen a date palm, okay, what is date palm? You know, you can see in your locality, in Hindi you call it khajur. Okay, like tree, coconut. Coconut does not belong to Cycas and Pinus, but still they look like that. That is why I am giving you the example. See, these trees, they don't have a branch. They grow slender and very tall. Okay, so we will be dealing with the specification in our next class. So go through the video properly.